I suffer from general anxiety disorder, maybe a bit of social anxiety disorder as well. Um, yeah. It properly kind of kick-started, I guess, first year of university. First lived away from my parents and stuff, and I think that was a catalyst for it, really. Yeah, some events that happened that year as well kind of just fueled the flames, I guess. Yeah. My girlfriend suffers from it too, as well as depression, so we kind of help ourselves, in take it in turns to kind of help each other and understand, how we feel. And I think that's kind of the best kind of support, really. I don't have much else. I mean, I've been to counselling services and whatnot, but I think that was the most consistent, and it's the most personal. So I think it's the best. I think my anxiety is pretty situational, so it'll it sort of just bubbles for quite a while, and then something like an event will just make it like rise up really badly. There's one where I'm on a bus that clearly says it's going to Leicester, but I literally couldn't move out of fear that it was not going to go there and it was going to go to London or something. One particular event I remember when I was 7 years old, and I was a really picky eater, and I used to hide carrots underneath my chair because I didn't like them, basically, and there was a cushion, so it would sort of be a perfect kind of hiding place for them. And I used to get praise for eating these carrots. And then one day when the chairs were being cleaned, there was like a splodge of carrots underneath the cushion, and yeah, there was a big moment there. It was like a lot of disappointment from my parents. There's one, not eating the carrots, and then there's two, lying to them. It was a big turning point, I think, because I could see the disappointment in their faces. It was palpable, and that's kind of stayed with me for a while, despite it being really silly and it's just like a dumb thing you do as a kid. But it really shook me, I think. Yeah. I would say that it kind of, it's being in groups of people. I think I'm quite a naturally quiet person anyway. So being in groups of people is tough. Even people that I've known for a while. I mean, I go on holiday with my friends every year, and even there I still feel a little bit on edge because there's quite a lot of us. There's about 13 of us that always go, and then I'm always still kind of feeling like the runt of the pack. And I think the groups, it is something that I struggle with. Even though I've been around people for like almost my whole life, there's still that kind of doubt that's buried in there. It starts with sort of a thought of I can't do what I'm trying to do. So that's the kind of first thought, that what I'm trying to do, especially with work, is like this is going to be terrible. You can't do this. And then the other kind of thoughts build up. There's a lot of doubt that comes into there. Like, I spent about 6 years of my life learning German, and there's this kind of doubt that I've just kind of stopped learning it, and I feel like I'm a bad person because of that. And that's one of the doubts that comes in. It's like, why can't you speak this language as good as you could have? And then other doubts like that come in, like, why don't you do a sport? Why aren't you closer to your parents? And then all these random thoughts that aren't really connected to the initial worry in the first place just start building up, and it's like, it's unbearable. I almost get sort of paralysed by it, and I just sort of end up curling up in a ball, really. I think recognising that I am actually not well. I think the moment I've been kind of living under a sort of satisfactory level, I've been a bit sad and a bit anxious about finishing university and whatnot, and I feel like it's just normal, and it's not this is kind of quite debilitating. It's affecting my work, it's affecting my sleep, but I'm getting constant headaches and whatnot. So it is something I should be looking at, but I think the nature of my anxiety mixed with a lot of doubt is that it is self-diagnosed. I mean, agreed with by counsellors, but still. So there's always this overhanging sense of doubt that it's not actually like technically there, and I'm kind of like amplifying it and making it up a little bit. So those two kind of mixed together are dangerous, really. And that's sort of the average day at the moment. I drink frequently, and I think it's not dependent, but I think it is something that, like, oh, I'll have a drink to numb the pain. Well, not really numb the pain, but just to sort of relax. I feel like I tense up. The anxiety makes me tense up a lot. And so at a drink, I feel like it's a very good way to kind of settle down. I mean, I do like to joke around with it as well. You know, I'll take it to places maybe that I shouldn't. You know, I'll take it to the library. I'll take a drink somewhere maybe. As that. As far as other drugs, I take them infrequently. But when I do, I do feel like the sense of the anxiety has gone. You know, there is a moment when I wake up the next day and I was like, oh my god, you know, I didn't have any kind of background worry or anything, and I think that was great, but I'm not actively searching out for it in that way. A sort of greater general knowledge of it would be a lot better, because it's something greater than just being nervous about something. It can stop you from doing certain things. You know, I've missed lectures, I've missed going out places, I've made up things purely because of my anxiety to not do a certain thing or see a certain person. I've skipped classes at school, days at school, like, you know, because I was anxious about something to do with going in, and it's, you know, that's had an effect on how I learn and stuff like that, and that's, you know, not healthy for someone to be like that and to miss out on opportunities because they're feeling that way, and then they can't talk to people about it because it adds to the anxiety because people don't know about it. It's sort of catch-22, and I think it needs the better understanding will help break that loop. I haven't actually told my family that I suffer from it or that I've seen counselling or anything, so I do worry about it. It actually kept me awake last night. I was in a bad way last night, and I sort of was worrying about that fact because I realised it earlier in the week that I hadn't told them anything, and I'm worried that they might change the way they think about me, but also that my parents are they are good parents, and, you know, they want the best for me, but I think I don't want to give them that extra worry. I have quite an interesting relationship with my parents. I think there's a lot of respect, but I don't know if there's a lot of communication that could happen. Like, there's a lot more that could happen, and I think that would be really important, but I'm holding back on that because I'm not telling them as much as I probably should. It's just bad, you know. It's bad on my part, and I think it would be fine if I told them, but I'm not sure how to tell them about it. They've seen signs, like they've seen like mind maps I've made to try and cope with my anxiety, and they've asked me if this is something they should worry about, and I've said no. I think initially I'd be quite relieved. I think there's a lot of bottled up feelings that would come out at that point. In the sort of long run, I think I'd be a little bit worried, but there might be a greater level of understanding between us. I don't know. I don't really know, and I think that's what I'm scared about. I think that I don't. Yeah, I really don't know. If you looked at my social life, you'd probably be fairly impressed actually. I've got quite a few friends, home and at uni, and we all kind of keep quite good contact. But I think on a deeper level, they're not exactly well developed. And I've known people back home for 10 plus years, and none of them have really any idea that I struggle with this or a lot of stuff. And that's why I feel like the sort of runt of the pack there, because I'm sort of bottling these feelings. No one really knows who I really am on a deeper level. So yeah, there's a good, I can sort of maintain a good relationship with people, but I think that once they get to know me, it might scare them a little bit. But I just don't feel like talking about it either, because I don't find it a very good topic to discuss. Once I start talking about it, sort of go further down the rabbit hole, and you're worrying about one thing after another, and it's not good in an environment like that, I think. I would say own it in a way. It sounds weird, but I think ever since I've decided to define it as anxiety and not just being a bit nervous and whatnot, it's given it a sort of, it's personified it a little bit and made it a bit easier to understand why this is happening. And it's not going to go overnight. You've got to work with it, so you may as well sort of label it and put it in a box and know that sometimes this is going to happen, because if you don't, you're just blissfully ignoring it, and that's probably the worst thing you can do, because it's in its full glory then if you're ignoring it. It's not a defining part of you, but it is part of you, and as long as you know that, you can sort of work to sort of helping it get better.